I have watched the strong fall because they could not wait. I have seen the swift stumble because they did not pause. There is no virtue in motion if it is not timed. The blade drawn too early will dull before it cuts. The hand that strikes too soon meets only wind. And the heart that rushes into battle does not know war. It only knows the noise of fear dressed as courage. To wait is not to do nothing. It is to observe everything. Patience is not idleness. It is power held in reserve. The warrior who waits does not grow weaker. He becomes sharper, clearer, closer to the truth. While others burn with urgency, he becomes cold with precision. While others demand answers, he listens to silence. And when the moment comes, he does not act. He executes. Victory is never a matter of chaos. It is always a matter of timing. It is not the fastest who win, but the most prepared. It is not the loudest who command, but the most still. The world confuses speed with mastery, but to be fast is only to arrive. To win is to arrive with advantage. You must know this: the one who waits without weakening is not passive. He is the storm before the storm. He is the quiet before the fault line breaks. In stillness, he sees what the frantic miss: a glance, a gesture, a change in breath. The smallest shift becomes the loudest signal, and the signal becomes the strike. Do not admire force that bursts. Admire force that builds. The strongest trees are not those that grow fast, but those that root deep without rushing. The greatest generals are not those who fight many battles, but those who end them before they begin. And the wisest men are not those who speak often, but those whose silence is felt more than noise. You are surrounded by a world that fears stillness. They run from quiet. They distract themselves into blindness. They think if they are not moving, they are falling behind. But movement without clarity is not progress. It is panic. Action without timing is not strength, so it is waste. You must become the one who moves when it matters, and only then. Resist the pressure to prove. Let others show their plans. Let them reveal their edge. You do not need to be seen to be effective. Power does not announce itself. Power watches, and power waits. Those who beg to be noticed are already exposed. The one who waits without weakening does not lose time. He bends time. He makes others tire themselves trying to guess his position. He lets them fight shadows and expend energy on illusions. And when they are too weak to stand, he walks through them like a blade through silk. The sharpest strategy is to make others believe you have no strategy. The deepest deception is to appear undecided while already decided. Let them think you are frozen when you are only coiled. Let them think you are lost when you are only patient. And when they move, let their motion become your map. Hold your center. Do not let their urgency infect your judgment. Their pace is not your pace. Their fear is not your fear. Their pressure is not your guide. Stay low. Stay still. Let the noise pass. Let the dust rise. And when it settles, let your clarity cut through it. You do not need to chase victory. You need to position yourself so it arrives to you. This is the difference between hunting and setting the trap. One exhausts himself, the other waits and wins. It is not the lion that chases endlessly who eats. It is the one who stalks, still, unreadable, until the prey enters the space he already controls. Waiting is an art that weak men abandon too soon. Their minds seek distraction, and their hands seek movement. They mistake discomfort for weakness and silence for failure. But the disciplined know that discomfort is sharpening, and silence is information. Every heartbeat teaches. Every delay reveals. There is no wasted moment in observation. You are not falling behind if you are becoming more aware. You are not stagnant if you are absorbing your enemy. Let others train their muscles. Train your mind. Let them react. You respond. Let them swing. You strike. Let them burn. You endure. The mind that does not waver under stillness is a fortress. The will that holds its edge through time is a weapon. If you cannot be broken by delay, you cannot be broken by conflict. And if you can see without rushing, you will strike without missing. Let them misunderstand you. Let them think you are slow. Let them forget you exist. There is power in absence. There is control in invisibility. The moment they stop watching is the moment you move unseen. The moment they stop fearing is the moment they fall. Stillness is not inaction. It is invisible motion. It is choosing where not to move and when. A river does not rage all at once. It bends. It waits. Then it cuts through stone. You must be like water, but not only in flow, also in patience. Observe patterns. Watch fatigue. Listen for inconsistency. The enemy always reveals himself before he knows he has. And when he does, you do not need to fight him. You only need to position him where the fight no longer matters. You cannot force time. You can only align with it. The one who tries to rush the tide will drown in it. The one who understands the tide will ride it unseen. And so, you wait. But not passively. You wait with the weight of a sword drawn in your mind. You wait with readiness behind your breath. You wait with victory folded quietly behind your eyes. You must learn to wait with intent. Not the waiting of the confused, not the hesitation of the unsure, but the waiting of the prepared, like a hawk that sees the rabbit long before the rabbit knows it is seen. Nothing in the hawk moves, but everything is ready. That is what discipline looks like. The absence of wasted motion. The presence of silent readiness. When your enemy is loud, he is afraid. When he moves too often, he is uncertain. When he shows too much, he is desperate to be believed. Let him reveal himself through noise. Let him declare himself through motion. Let him hand you the blueprint of his weakness while you remain undefined. You are not here to show strength. You are here to become invisible and unbreakable. Those who can be seen can be anticipated. Those who can be anticipated can be defeated. If your enemy cannot read you, he cannot prepare for you. And if he cannot prepare for you, he is already losing. Restraint is not the absence of power. It is the perfection of power. The sword that does not swing is more feared than the one that already cuts, because the threat that waits is the one that shapes behavior, and the presence that does not act becomes the shadow that haunts the battlefield. To win without fighting is not a trick. It is not deception. It is dominance at its highest form, not of the enemy's body, but of his mind. When your existence causes him to misstep, to overthink, to retreat without being touched, then you have mastered the art. There is no need to enter the arena when the arena bends to your will. Let them fight each other while you watch the pieces fall. Let them grow tired of their own noise while you grow sharper in silence. When the dust settles, the last figure standing is rarely the loudest. It is the one who waited, observed, adapted, and struck only once, perfectly. I do not ask you to love stillness. I ask you to endure it. I ask you to see what it teaches, to feel what it reveals, and to let it sharpen your edge. The world fears silence because silence reveals truth. But the warrior makes peace with it, because truth is his only ally. And when you can sit with truth, with no distraction, no disguise, you become immovable. They will call you cold. They will call you slow. They will not understand. Let them speak. Let them rush. Let them burn their energy and performance. You conserve yours. You are not in competition with noise. You are building clarity. And when clarity is complete, action becomes final. A single move made at the right time is more powerful than 100 made in confusion. That is why you wait. Not out of fear, but because you know time is your accomplice. Every second deepens your understanding. Every delay is a layer added to your advantage, until you become the inevitable. Do not reveal yourself to ease their curiosity. Do not speak to ease their anxiety. Do not move to relieve their tension. Let them suffer in their own impatience. Let them crumble under their own urgency. Their collapse is self-made. You only need to remain. I have seen generals win wars without lifting a sword. I have seen kings lose everything because they could not wait. The difference was never strength. It was control, not over others, over themselves. The ones who win are not those who dominate the field, but those who dominate their own instincts. Your instincts will scream at you to act. You must train them to obey stillness. You must unlearn the need to respond. Not every challenge deserves a reply. Not every signal deserves attention. Only the clear, only the critical. Everything else is noise meant to move you off your center. Do not allow it. Those who wait without weakening do not watch the clock. They watch behavior. They watch breath. They listen to words that contradict each other. They trace the patterns of exhaustion. They see the lie before it is spoken. Because while others engage, they perceive. And in perception, they find the line that leads to control. The war is not always won on the battlefield. Often, it is won in rooms before the battle begins. It is won in posture, in silence, in choices made weeks before the enemy even knows there is a conflict. That is why you wait, to see beyond the surface, to set the terms before anyone else knows. Terms exist. Stillness is not the end of movement. It is the beginning of command. He who can stop himself controls himself. He who controls himself controls outcomes. The battle is only a mirror. What you bring into it reflects back at you. If you bring calm, you shape chaos. If you bring timing, you unmake momentum. If you bring strategy, you end the need for struggle. So do not ask how to move faster. Ask how to wait longer. Ask how to see deeper. Ask how to know without revealing, how to act without exposing, how to hold a sword in your mind so clearly that the enemy feels it before you draw. Waiting is not easy. It is not meant to be. That is what makes it powerful. That is what makes it rare. Anyone can fight. Few can withhold the urge. Anyone can react. Few can stay still while the world shakes. And those few, those who wait without weakening, they win without fighting. Let them run. Let them shout. Let them posture. You remain, calm, grounded, watching, knowing that nothing in motion lasts forever, and when they fall, it is not you who brought them down. It was time, sharpened by your patience. There is a clarity that only waiting can produce. Not the waiting of wishful thinking, but the waiting of preparation. The kind of waiting that strips away illusion, that reveals the nature of the opponent, of the terrain, of the moment. It is in that stillness that you begin to see the cracks forming, not on the surface, but in the foundation. He who cannot wait reveals his cracks first. You only need to watch. You only need to remain whole while others decay. Weakness is often loud. Desperation is disguised as urgency. Panic wears the mask of boldness. But beneath it all is a single truth. The one who is afraid to wait has already surrendered to the clock. You must never bow to time. You bend it. There is no pride in unnecessary movement. Every step costs energy. Every word shifts balance. The wise do not pay that price unless the return is guaranteed. You are not here to chase results. You are here to control outcomes. And control comes not through domination, but through positioning. Positioning requires nothing more than clarity and discipline. Both are born in stillness. Let them assume you are indecisive. Let them call you unsure. Their judgment is not your concern. Their misunderstanding is your camouflage. The greatest advantage is to be underestimated, but only if you are prepared. That is the art, to appear behind while being ahead, to seem distant while surrounding them, to wait while they wear themselves down. You cannot force alignment. The tide does not rise because a man commands it. It rises because the forces are aligned. So too must you learn to move only when the forces within you and around you align. Otherwise, your movement is not strategy. It is noise. A great commander does not attack out of impatience. He attacks when he already owns the battlefield, when every variable has already been accounted for, when the enemy has already been shaped, positioned, and weakened by his own steps. By the time the sword is drawn, the outcome is a formality. That is what it means to win without fighting. It is not magic. It is not luck. It is the product of observation, restraint, and perfect timing. It is to dominate without display, to direct the enemy's path without appearing to interfere, to own the moment without chasing it. Resist the temptation to act for the sake of action. Not all pressure requires a response. Not all change requires a counter. Some pressure is meant to provoke. Some motion is meant to bait. Some chaos is manufactured. Only the still mind can see through it. Train yourself not to react. Train yourself to detect. Every move has intent. Every shift has meaning. And those meanings are not revealed to those who act too soon. Wait. Watch. Let them show you who they are. Then move with precision, not impulse. In war, the first to move is often the first to exhaust. Let the enemy extend himself. Let him stretch beyond his support. Let him believe he has the advantage. Encourage his confidence, but give him no target. Frustrate his expectations, but offer no resistance. He will begin to question his own position. Then, without a word, you cut off retreat, and the war ends before the battle begins. Your greatest weapon is not your sword. It is your ability to withhold it, because restraint is the edge that keeps the sword sharp. If you draw too often, you become predictable. If you strike too easily, you become readable. But if you hold the blade in your mind, sharpened, unseen, they feel it long before it moves. You do not need to be feared. You need to be unknown. Fear fades. Mystery remains. Let them try to guess your next step. Let them plan against what they cannot see. Every hour they spend preparing for a ghost is an hour they weaken themselves. You only need to remain quiet and unshaken. Stillness is not the absence of challenge. It is how you meet challenge without becoming it. When fire surrounds you, do not become flame. When the world screams, do not raise your voice. When pushed, do not lean. Your balance must be your weapon. Because when others fall to pressure, you remain. When others scatter, you shape. When others charge, you wait. And in that waiting, you bend the field toward your advantage, not by force, but by inevitability. You let others burn themselves out, chasing an enemy that never shows himself until it is far too late. This is the art of disciplined patience, to know that every delay is not time lost, but position gained, that every refusal to act is not weakness, but strength concealed, that the one who moves last, with full clarity, moves with the weight of finality. Do not listen to the world's demand for speed. Listen instead to the silence between events. It will tell you more than 1,000 reports. In silence, truth whispers. In stillness, insight speaks. And through discipline, both become tools in your hands. Do not ask when to move. Ask whether the conditions are bending toward you. If they are not, wait. If they are, wait still. Wait until your movement is not action, but conclusion. Until your step is not effort, but execution. Until your strike is not risk, but result. This is how wars are truly won, not by blood, not by noise, but by clarity. And clarity comes only to the one who waits, without weakening. A weak mind collapses beneath waiting. It seeks distraction to escape discipline. But the warrior who waits with purpose is a blade being forged in fire. Not flashing, but tempering. Not exposed, but refined. Each moment of stillness is another edge being sharpened. Each breath without motion becomes another layer of unseen strength. You do not train to act, you train to decide. Action is easy. Precision is rare. The one who acts for its own sake has already lost command of the outcome, but the one who decides only when it is time has already mastered himself. And he who masters himself does not need to master others. They defeat themselves trying to match what they cannot see. To act without urgency is not slowness. It is superiority. You are not late. You are exact. You are not hesitant. You are calculating. And you are not behind. You are above. Those who confuse movement with progress remain trapped in the cycle of noise. But you are the still point around which chaos orbits. Victory is not the act of overpowering. It is the act of removing the need to overpower. When your enemy loses the will to fight, you have already won. When he doubts, hesitates, or second guesses, the war has shifted in your favor. That shift begins not in the clash, but long before it, in your quiet posture. Never confuse visibility with presence. Never confuse stillness with absence. The most dangerous presence is the one you do not detect until it is too late. You must become that presence. You must become the force they forgot to fear, because it made no noise, showed no heat, left no trace. When you wait long enough, others begin to unravel themselves. Their own assumptions work against them. Their predictions collapse. Their plans expire. And you, who waited not with emptiness but with intent, become the only one left standing when the wind shifts. Even the strongest wind tires. Even the loudest noise fades. But the one who endures both, without flinching, becomes a force that cannot be shaken. Not because he is harder, but because he is more still. Hardness breaks. Stillness absorbs. What you resist, you empower. What you observe, you outlast. Let others rush to fill silence with sound. You remain in silence and hear what they cannot. Let them fill space with movement. You remain in position and see what they miss. You do not need more tools. You need more clarity. You do not need faster responses. You need fewer distractions. Impatience disguises itself as urgency. It wears the mask of boldness, but it leads only to exhaustion. You must be the one who sees through the mask, in yourself and in others. You must train your senses not to follow movement, but to perceive intent. What is unsaid? What is not done? What is withheld? These are the things that matter. The wise warrior does not meet the world as it appears, but as it truly is beneath the surface. And to see the surface crack, you must stop running across it. You must stop speaking over it. You must kneel, place your hand on the earth, and listen. Movement clouds the water. Stillness reveals the reflection. You must become like the moon, not always full, not always seen, but always present, pulling the tides with quiet force. Your strength is not in how you shine. It is in what you affect by simply being unmoved. The ocean does not argue. It does not react. It rises and recedes, and through this, it shapes continents. So too must your strategy be shaping, not chasing. Let others race across the surface of events. Let them fight for position, attention, and validation. You fight for nothing. You wait for what bends toward you. And when it does, you close your hand and take it without resistance. To fight without fighting is to remain aligned while the enemy unravels. It is to stay grounded while the world around you slips. It is to wait without weakening until weakness walks straight into your path. You do not move to meet it. You let it come. No enemy is more dangerous than the one who has made peace with waiting, because he is no longer ruled by time and no longer shaped by pressure. He sees through illusion. He feels no need to prove. And when he moves, it is not with haste. It is with finality. You must become that enemy. You must become the ghost they forgot, the presence they discounted, the force that never left, only watched. Let them forget you. Let them dismiss you. Let them believe the storm has passed. And when they open their gates, walk in with no resistance. Every day you remain disciplined is another day they become exposed. Every move you withhold is another step they cannot predict. And every breath you take in silence is another advantage earned in a war they think has already begun. But for you, it began long before, and it will end on your terms. You must understand, time is not your enemy. It is your ally if you know how to breathe with it. The impatient grow old in the chase. The disciplined grow sharp in the pause. Every passing second is not a loss, but a test of your center, your clarity, your control. The battlefield begins inside. If you can hold yourself, you will hold the field. Let them look ahead. You look within. Let them ask, what comes next? You ask, am I ready? When they move, they search for certainty outside themselves. When you move, it is because certainty has already formed within. There is no rush to reach the moment when you are the one who defines it. They seek signs. You watch patterns. They follow predictions. You shape probability. They chase outcomes. You build inevitability. That is why your steps are few, and theirs are many. That is why they burn, and you remain. All war is psychological. Before swords are drawn, minds are weighed. The uncentered mind exposes its weakness before it acts. It flinches before it falls. The one who waits without weakening does not only survive, he erodes the mind of his enemy. He becomes the mirror that reflects their fear. He becomes the space in which they unravel. You are not fighting for victory. You are waiting for the moment when victory becomes unnecessary, because the enemy no longer has the will to stand. That is the highest form of warfare, not to conquer territory, but to conquer will. Not to destroy, but to disarm. Completely, silently, permanently. Stillness is not where the war pauses. It is where the war is decided. It is not the gap between action, it is the ground beneath action. And the one who claims that ground, who holds it without shaking, becomes the axis around which all conflict turns. Ask yourself, can I sit with tension without feeding it? Can I hold stillness without fleeing it? Can I see my own impulse and not obey it? If so, then you are not reactive. You are sovereign. And in sovereignty, you do not wait for advantage. You become the advantage. The man who does not need to fight cannot be defeated, because he does not play the game by the same rules. While others train to strike, he trains to remain. While others prepare to win, he prepares to endure. And while others burn in anticipation, he sharpens and waits. You do not lose by being still. You lose by being moved before the moment is ripe. A fruit plucked too early is bitter. A plan executed too soon is fragile. A warrior exposed too early is a target. But he who hides within clarity has no weakness, because nothing can find him. Learn to become the pressure, not to feel it. Learn to become the timing, not to chase it. And learn that most of what is presented as urgency is merely fear, trying to dress itself in purpose. Let fear pass by you like wind over stone. Let excitement pass through you like fire through water. Do not cling to opportunity. Let it prove itself. The real ones always do. And when they do, you will be ready, not because you moved fast, but because you never weakened. No one sees the seed while it roots in darkness. No one praises the mountain while it forms in silence. But the moment it rises, all assume it appeared by force. They do not see the centuries of stillness that made it inevitable. You must become that inevitability, not because you force yourself forward, but because nothing can force you back. Not because you shout, but because your presence is felt in every silence. That is how you move without being seen. That is how you strike without being touched. That is how you win without ever appearing to fight. Let your opponents burn themselves on each other. Let them measure each other with noise. You remain immeasurable. While they calculate reach, you expand within. While they test range, you study rhythm. And when the time bends toward you, you step once, and it is over. Every moment of waiting is an investment in inevitability. Every withheld strike is an offering to clarity. Every breath taken in discipline is a declaration, I am still here, and I do not break. This is not strategy for the battlefield alone. This is strategy for the mind, the hour, the unseen war that never ends. The war within every decision, the battle in every hesitation, the silence between each action. That is where true mastery lives. That is where you must learn to win. You are not here to impress. You are here to endure. You are not here to respond. You are here to read. You are not here to be early. You are here to be precise. When you wait without weakening, you remove the opponent's oxygen. And when they cannot breathe, they cannot fight. You do not declare victory. You let silence declare it for you. You do not chase glory. You let absence speak louder than presence. And when it is done, they will not remember how you moved. They will only remember that they never saw it coming. Most men exhaust themselves proving they are strong. Few understand that true strength does not require witnesses. You do not grow more powerful by being seen. You grow more powerful by being still. In stillness, you are no longer a reaction. You become the condition that shapes reactions in others. When you are not provoked, you become the provocation. When you are not disturbed, you become the disturbance. Not by force, by presence. A presence that says, I do not move for you. A presence that makes others question their pace, their confidence, their position. And once they question it, they have already begun to lose. Waiting without weakening is not simply endurance. It is quiet domination. It is the refusal to obey the clock others obey. It is the clarity to choose when the game begins and the precision to decide how it ends. And often, it ends before anyone realizes it has begun. The enemy cannot fight what he cannot locate. He cannot strike what does not move. He cannot defend against what has not yet appeared. This is your advantage. You are not avoiding the fight. You are dissolving its need. You are making it obsolete, not through peace, but through control. Control is not in motion. It is in readiness, not in volume, but in understanding. Control means that your sword is already drawn, not in your hand, but in your mind. And the one who holds it there longest, without showing it, owns the battlefield before he steps onto it. You are not waiting for permission. You are not stalling in fear. You are coiling. You are centering. You are drawing the lines of a map that only you can see. And when the others move, they will find they are already inside it. To wait without weakening is to detach from the rhythm others obey, to choose your own pulse, your own timing. You are not here to respond. You are here to reveal, to show them who they are, not by words, but by reflection. And the still mind reflects everything. Let your silence say more than their declarations. Let your absence create more impact than their presence. Let your readiness make them hesitate, even when you do nothing. This is not an illusion. This is power, the kind that does not waver, the kind that bends others by existing alone. You must learn to see the battle not as noise, but as shape, not as fury, but as pattern. And pattern is only visible to those who do not become part of it. Step back. See the rhythm in their chaos. See the repetition in their aggression. And in that repetition, find your opportunity. Do not fear pressure. Pressure does not break the one who is aligned. It only breaks the one who resists without understanding. You are not made to match force with force. You are made to let their force spend itself until it collapses by its own excess. Let them come forward. Let them tire. Let them reach. Each step forward is a step deeper into the space you control. And when they think they have found you, they will discover they have only found their own limit. Because you were never there to meet them. You were waiting to end them. The deeper your stillness, the sharper your clarity. The sharper your clarity, the more precise your movement. And with one movement, you do what others fail to do in 1,000. This is not efficiency. This is finality. It is the act that ends need for further acts. There is no glory in acting too soon. There is no reward for being first to fall. The world praises speed because it does not understand wait. You do not need praise. You need results. And results come to those who understand that the final move is what matters, not the first. So let them have the first move. Let them celebrate their advance. You are not measured by beginning. You are measured by ending. And endings are written by those who wait, observe, calculate, and strike when there is no doubt left. When the outcome is no longer a gamble, but a certainty. This is not passivity. This is supremacy. This is what it means to stand where others fall. Not by being louder, faster, or bolder, but by being unshaken. Every warrior must decide, do I want to be noticed, or do I want to win? The ones who win are rarely the ones who are seen. Be the quiet current beneath the storm. Be the gravity they forget to measure. Be the condition that shapes every variable they try to control. That is how you control the battlefield. Not by being everywhere, but by being the one thing they cannot predict, cannot push, cannot break. And when the moment comes, you do not announce yourself. You do not rise with noise. You arrive. And when you do, it is not with struggle. It is with closure. To arrive without effort is not arrogance. It is preparation paid in silence. It is the reward for waiting beyond comfort, for sharpening beyond necessity, for observing until nothing is hidden. When others are tired from movement, you are fresh from stillness. When they are blinded by reaction, you see with unbroken vision. They will call it luck. Let them. They will say you had an advantage. Let them. They will invent reasons to explain how you arrived unopposed, how you succeeded without spectacle. Let them speak. The ones who speak are not the ones who hold control. The ones who endure in silence, they are the architects of reality. You do not build reputation, you build position. And from position comes power. Not the power to command attention, but the power to choose your effect, to step lightly and shift everything. That is the mark of mastery. To make less, do more. The most effective movement is invisible until complete. The greatest shifts begin beneath perception. This is why you wait. This is why you remain unseen. Because when the world notices, it is already too late to respond. And by the time they act, they are reacting to a result, not a threat. Do not waste time proving what you are. Let outcomes speak. Let silence prepare. You are not here to impress. You are here to shift the axis beneath your opponent's feet, so that what stood becomes what falls, without the world ever seeing you touch it. A warrior who waits without weakening is not avoiding war. He is erasing the need for it, not by treaties, not by compromise, but by dominance so complete it appears natural. So inevitable, it is mistaken for fate. But fate favors the prepared, and preparation favors the patient. Be precise in your preparation. Be relentless in your stillness. Every delay must carry purpose. Every moment must deepen clarity. If you sit without sharpening, you grow dull. If you wait without watching, you grow blind. You are not frozen. You are coiled. And every breath pulls tension tighter. The enemy does not see this tension. He believes you are inactive. He believes you are slow. That belief is your cloak. Wrap yourself in it. Let them walk freely into your domain, unguarded by overconfidence. And when they finally see you, it is because they have already stepped into defeat. You are not preparing to fight. You are becoming unnecessary to fight. You are not forcing openings. You are letting them form. You are not anticipating opportunity. You are designing it through inaction that sharpens every edge. This is not a path for those who need affirmation. There will be no applause in waiting. There will be no audience for restraint. But when the moment arrives, and you move once without hesitation, and everything breaks open, those who watched will understand. Not before, not during, only after. And that is enough, because you are not here for recognition. You are here for outcome. You are here to execute the smallest possible action with the greatest possible effect. That is the art of still warfare, to condense effort into precision, to wait until one step is worth 100. To strike only when the outcome is already sealed. You will be tested, not by conflict, but by temptation. Temptation to move before the time. Temptation to speak before the silence is done. Temptation to act because others are acting. You must resist. Every early motion makes you visible. Every visible act makes you vulnerable. And every vulnerability is a crack you cannot afford. Let others chase. You observe. Let others guess. You measure. Let others invest themselves in reaction. You invest yourself in positioning. The one who reacts is ruled by what happens. The one who positions is ruled by what must happen. And the difference is everything. You must come to see patience not as delay, but as positioning, not as pause, but as gathering, not as weakness, but as compression. You are not less than others because you move less. You are more because you need less movement to reach the same effect. This is the mark of strategic mind, to extract maximum result from minimum action, not through shortcuts, but through sequence, through readiness, through harmony with timing that others do not yet hear. You will begin to feel the rhythm before the noise. You will begin to see the shift before the motion. You will begin to know, not guess, when the line breaks. That is when you move, not to break it, but to confirm what has already broken. There is no struggle in that kind of strike, no noise, no resistance. You pass through what is already collapsing, and in that moment, others will say you were lucky. But you know the truth. You waited long enough for the inevitable to reveal itself, and you did not weaken. That is the discipline. That is the edge. That is the way. No plan survives first contact unless it is built on truth. Not the truth of data, nor the truth of theory, but the truth of rhythm, of pressure, of human weakness revealed over time. That truth is never found in haste. It reveals itself only to the one who waits. Truth does not shout. It does not knock. It waits, like you must wait, patiently, quietly, with full awareness. And when it appears, it does so without noise. If you have been still, you will recognize it. If you have been rushing, it will pass you by unnoticed. Let this be your discipline, to remain so unmoved that you see what others miss. Not because you are better, but because you did not look away. While others chase the next event, the next reaction, the next advantage, you anchor yourself in what does not move. The earth does not tremble for every footstep. The sky does not answer every shout. You must become like them, silent, watching, immune to provocation. Let your emotions rise, but do not ride them. Let your instincts scream, but do not obey. Let your ego thirst for recognition, but give it no water. He who waits without weakening is not less fierce. He is more focused. He is not without fire. His fire is simply not wasted. It burns inward, heating resolve instead of smoke. It is the difference between chaos and control, between heat and light, between fury and clarity. There is no clearer mind than the one that has passed through the temptation of motion and remained still. There is no sharper edge than the one that was not dulled by proving itself too often. This is how you become permanent, not by rushing to every wave, but by becoming the shore that shapes them. A mind trained to wait becomes immune to manipulation. Propaganda, fear, urgency, all fall flat against stillness. You are not pulled by headlines. You are not moved by noise. You are not infected by the collective panic of those who confuse busyness with strategy. Your time moves differently. Your time flows inward, not outward. While others disperse their force in all directions, you draw yours inward like a bowstring. You are not losing time. You are increasing pressure. And when the moment comes, you release all of it, not in rage, but in precision. This is not passivity. This is not withdrawal. This is not retreat. This is compression. This is the gathering of all force into a single motion. And when it arrives, nothing can stop it. Not because it is overwhelming, but because it is aligned. Alignment cannot be seen from the outside. It does not glitter. It does not announce itself. It is a sensation known only to the disciplined. And when it clicks into place, there is no hesitation. There is no second guessing. There is only action, final, quiet, irreversible. This is what separates those who wish from those who win. The ability to wait without weakening, to prepare without seeking applause, to move without looking back. You are not here to be cheered. You are here to be certain. You are not here to be first. You are here to be last and final. Let others feel powerful by being loud. Let them call you cautious. Let them label you slow. All labels lose meaning in the silence that precedes decisive motion. And once you move, the only label that matters is the one written by the outcome. And when they look back and ask how you did it, how you appeared from nowhere, how you ended what they could not even begin to solve, they will not understand that it was not a sudden burst. It was a long preparation, a quiet patience, a will forged under pressure they never saw. They never saw it because they never looked in the places where power hides. They looked in the noise, in the shouts, in the motion. You looked in the space between moments, in the breath between decisions, in the hesitation that reveals everything. To wait without weakening is not to delay. It is to dominate the unseen layer of time, to fight not on the surface, but beneath it. And when you move, you are not just moving through space. You are moving through people's assumptions. You are breaking their rhythm. You are cutting through their confidence, and they do not know how to respond because they never saw you coming. This is not theory. This is not metaphor. This is the oldest principle of warfare and of life. Those who wait without weakening win without fighting. Because they fight before the enemy knows a war has begun. Because they position before the map is drawn. Because they are already finished before others start. And you, if you stay still long enough, if you breathe through the chaos without absorbing it, if you sharpen in silence, you too will become the one they cannot touch, cannot predict, cannot stop. You do not need to fight the storm. You need only to become the one thing in its path that does not move. The most terrifying force is the one that remains calm in a world that is burning. Not because it is immune, but because it is prepared. Because it has already walked through fire in the mind. Because it has already suffered every outcome in thought. And now, in presence, it does not flinch. You must become that force, unhurried, unshaken, unseen until the moment demands you. And when that moment comes, you do not explode, you arrive. You do not roar, you land. You do not need to strike hard, you need only to strike right. You will find that very few can do this. Not because it is impossible, but because it is invisible. The reward does not come quickly. The fruit of patience is bitter to the undisciplined. But to you, it must become nourishment. Let discomfort strengthen you. Let silence guide you. Let restraint make you lethal. Even among warriors, patience is rare. They will sharpen their blades for battle, but dull their minds in the rush. They will sprint into engagement and wonder why they fall first. You must not join them. You must remember, stillness is the preparation that no enemy expects. What the world calls hesitation, you must call design. What they call weakness, you must know as precision. What they call retreat, you must recognize as the gathering of force. You are not behind. You are deep. You are not slow. You are selective. You are not absent. You are inevitable. If you master this, you will find yourself winning before the battle begins. Not because you crushed your opponent, but because he defeated himself trying to guess you, chase you, provoke you, read you. And when he grew tired of trying, you had already positioned him for collapse. This is why you study timing. This is why you study rhythm. This is why you stay still longer than others think possible, not to outlast them, but to shape them. Because stillness is not only a shield, it is a sculptor. It molds your enemy without him knowing. And by the time he realizes, He fits perfectly inside your plan. The power of non-action is not passive. It is pressure in its purest form. It is gravity. It does not need noise nor motion. It simply is, and all things must bend around it. You must become like that gravity. You do not chase influence. You let it revolve around you. You do not command attention. You become what attention cannot ignore. And you achieve this by never needing to be seen, by never needing to be heard, by needing only one thing: alignment. Let them think you have no strategy. Let them say you are waiting too long. Let them assume you are weak. All of it is camouflage. Every opinion they form of you is a mirror showing them, not you. Their impatience becomes their blueprint. Their noise becomes your map. And you continue watching, waiting, shaping, until the moment arrives when all variables turn quiet, when the enemy is exposed, when the air changes, and without speaking, you know, now. You do not hesitate. You do not question. You do not reach for your weapon. It was never away from you. The weapon is your readiness. The strike is simply the final movement of something that began long ago, the moment you chose stillness instead of speed. This is not a single victory. This is a way of moving through the world. This is a way of thinking through chaos, of deciding in pressure, of preparing without noise. It is the way of those who no longer depend on the moment to favor them. They shape the moment through their discipline. To others, it will appear effortless. It will look simple. That is the illusion you must protect. Let them believe you are lucky. Let them believe you have some hidden edge. They are right. The edge is that you did not move when they did. You did not panic when they did. You did not need what they needed. That is the deepest form of power: independence from noise, from panic, from recognition. The ability to know when to wait, and to wait without weakening. The ability to move, and to move only once. The ability to fight, and to win without the fight ever becoming necessary. That is how I have won. That is how I have taught others to win. And that is how you must learn to win, not by dominating the battlefield, but by shaping it. Not by overwhelming the enemy, but by being the one who never needed to rush. Wait without weakening, and you will know there is no opponent greater than time, and time belongs to those who command themselves. This is the discipline few ever master, not because it is hidden, but because it is simple. So simple that it offends the restless, so quiet that it repels the noisy. To wait without weakening requires nothing external, no weapon, no army, only the mind, sharpened, still, and sovereign. The one who commands himself commands everything else. This is the final lesson. The battlefield is not around you, it is within. Until you conquer that terrain, you will be ruled by every flicker of change, every shadow of fear, every echo of noise pretending to be truth. Stillness is not a pause in the war. It is the war. And those who can remain unmoved while the world burns, they write the ending, while others are still reacting to the beginning. You must become that author, not by writing more, but by needing less. Less approval, less movement, less explanation. You are not here to match the world's rhythm. You are here to shape it. But you cannot shape what you chase. You must be the center, not the storm. The observer, not the echo. The silence, not the noise. And in doing so, you will win. Not by overpowering the opponent, but by removing the ground beneath him while he dances. They will not understand your path. Let them walk theirs. Let them move quickly, strike often, shout loudly. Let them tire. Let them win small battles to lose the war they never saw forming, the one you crafted in silence, moment by moment, without weakness. And when they are gone, when their energy is scattered, when their names are forgotten, you will remain. Not because you conquered them, but because you never needed to chase them. You never became them. You waited, and you did not weaken. That is how I have survived every age, not by fighting every battle, but by becoming the one they could not reach, the one who could wait, the one who could see, the one who was already prepared long before the enemy appeared. And so I speak across time to you. Do not move until movement becomes truth. Do not strike until victory already exists within your hands. Do not react, remain. Let time do what time does. Let others do what they must. You only do what is required, and nothing more. This is the art not of war, but of command. This is not about destruction. It is about decision. You decide when the war begins. You decide when it ends. And if you are patient enough, sharp enough, still enough, there will be no need for either. Because when the world moves, you will not. When the world breaks, you will not. And when the world asks, who won? There will be only silence. And you, watching, waiting, ready, will know the answer without needing to speak. I am Sun Tzu, and I have already won.